Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So today we're going to discuss the highlights of chapter 30 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3. Now here we are going to hear about today's life scenario. What happens in our minds and what happens to our lives, what happens to our happiness. Everything is very clearly explained in this chapter. That's why I really loved that chapter. First of all, as we did yesterday, it talks about how time is very important and we cannot lose time. But not knowing the importance of using time properly, how people are losing time, that's what is explained in this chapter. Here in Canto 3, chapter 30, text 20, it's told that whatever is produced by the materialist with great pain and labor for so called happiness, the Supreme Personality of Godhead as time factor destroys. For this reason, the conditioned soul laments. You see? So, how it's. Do I need that light? I don't think I need it, I think. Okay. Yeah. So, actually, this conditioned soul, he is all the time thinking, oh, I have to work hard. I have to work hard. I have to provide for my family. I have to provide for my children. I have to buy a car. I have to buy a home. So much, So they work sometimes night shift and sometimes on weekends. Really work hard. But when time comes, everything will be taken away. Sometimes in the form of accident, sometimes in the form of disease, sometimes in the form of death, sometimes in the form of DEBT, debt of our father. We may have to give up everything. Somebody does some debt and we will be tagged and we will have to give. We don't know how, and sometimes we may die and we may lose everything. So the conditioned soul feels very hurt when he works so hard and loses everything. But then it talks about how a materialist, a person who is a materialist, he does not understand that the family that he belongs to through his body is not his family. The family that he belongs to as a part of the soul, that's his family. What is that? As a soul, we are a part of the supreme soul. We become the part of the supreme soul. So we are a part of the supreme whole, and that is we are a part of Krishna. So that we are not understanding, and we are thinking, my children, my parents, my spouse are my family. When we think like that, we really attack ji Hare Krishna. So we think that we have to make a home for our family, we have to buy land, we have to have wealth. We think like that. And then we work for them. From our heart, we work for them. Hare Krishna Srinathji. Yes, Queeneve Newelji, Hare Krishna. So the living entity, in whatever life species he appears, he finds a particular type of happiness in his species. Even a pig is happy in his dirty waters. A pig is happy eating stool. When Indra was cursed by his spiritual master to become a pig, he got his wife pig and children pig, and he was allowed to stay in a gutter, eating the stool and urine, drinking urine, whatnot. But when the time of Indra, the curse period is over, then also Indra was so attached to his wife pig and to his children piglets that he didn't want to leave the gutter and go back to his rich heavenly kingdom. Now Brahma was shocked. He came down to tell Indra, "Hey Indra, you are not pig. This is not your home. Your home, you have got beautiful life in heaven. Come back." But Indra didn't want to go back. He said, "Oh no, but I want to be here in this place," like that. Srinathji is saying, "Hare Krishna Mataji, I came to Krishna consciousness by watching your lectures." Oh my God, Srinathji, I am very grateful because my spiritual master was sitting right above my head. That photograph will be very happy. He folds his hand and requests disciples to preach. And whatever we do, if it helped you, Srinathji, then I am very, very grateful to you, Srinathji. So, my dear friends, Neerji, hi, Hare Krishna. So, you know what? So, Maya is so dangerous that captivated Indra also. Same like Indra. Indra, when he became a pig, he does not want to leave his wife pig and go back to his abode. Same like that, we are his children. Any religion you see, it says Allah's people will say that we are his servants, and Almighty's people will say we are his children, and Bhagavad Gita will say we are his part and parcel, means we belong to him. Everybody agrees that we belong to God. But we tell any religion that you belong to God. Come on, get attached to God, live for God, serve God. Nobody shows interest. Nobody shows interest. They are interested in taking care of their wife, their children, their home, their land, their property. Are you may die now. When are you making time for God? When are you going to live for Krishna? That nobody is interested. They are all interested to this. See, in this world there is so much problems, but they're not understanding. If we go to God's house, there is no problem. We can be very happy with Krishna, but nobody understands this. We stay attached. Why? That is the power of Maya. Some people call it Satan, some people call it devil, evil, hmm? But we call it as Maya. Same philosophy, names, words are different, that's all. So, friends, then what happens is that in hell, you know what? In hell, we are sometimes put in very severe punishments. At that time, we are asked to get into the lake of blood, pus, urine, and things like that, and stool. And we are asked to stay there, and if we are hungry or thirsty, we are supposed to drink what is there and eat what is there. So, even in hellish condition, it is told that a person finally comes to adjust and feels, I am happy here. Even a hellish condition, when a person does not want to leave and becomes happy, eating stool and drinking urine and drinking blood and sucking pus, that's when we are lifted from that hell and given the suitable body of a pig. Now you like that? You take the pig body so that you can enjoy. Now you come to enjoying consciousness. So now you enjoy your pig body because you deserve it, because the things that you did in your human body, that you deserve the body of a pig, so go back to pig body. So this is the punishment given by, given at the time of judgment, given in by Yamaraj judgment gives that, so, my dear friends, it is this particular chapter talks only about such things. It says that how illicit sex, how if you eat meat, according to this, how if you eat meat, you will be asked to, your body will be burned in hell, and you will be asked to eat the flesh of your own body, or your own body's flesh, sometimes given to others who are supposed to eat that flesh, like vultures and things like that, will be allowed to eat that. So here initially it talks about how we get very attached to our family. It talks about how we think. See here, Srimad Bhagavatam very beautifully explains these things. He gives his heart and senses to a woman who falsely charms him with Maya. He enjoys solitary embraces and talking with her, and is enchanted by the sweet words of small children. So you see how we forget Krishna, our supreme master, our supreme father, how we forget him, and how we get entangled to stay in this dirty material world. It's a dirty, stinky place. Stinky because we stink in all our body parts. We sweat, we stink. We pass stools, we stink. We pass urine, we stink. Oh my God, it's such a stinky, it's grossly stinky, and mentally it's such a dirty place, because people are all very, selfishly thinking of what they can get out of people, what they can get out of situation for their profit. Nobody is actually bothered about the others. Uh, and everybody first takes care of themselves, then they think of taking care of others. Generally in the material world, material people are that. In this world we are saying we are happy. That is Maya, that is a foolishness. That foolishness is because Maya covers our intelligence. um, so, my dear friends, it says that how we get cheated in this material world is that we actually which is full of diplomacy and politics, always spreading misery and controlled by acts of sense gratification. He acts just to counteract the reaction of all his miseries. And if he can successfully counteract such miseries, he thinks that he is happy. Suppose in this material world, what is the definition of happiness? It's not that one is really happy here. Actually, nobody is happy. Suppose if it is itching here, and I itch, and when my itching is subdued, then I think, now I am happy. I could itch like that. Suppose somebody is really heartbroken because of the situations in their family, in their relationships, in their office, whatever. That time they think that maybe I am not able to take this pain, so I will just do something that will help me to come out of pain. So they sit and watch TV, watch movie, a movie that entertains their minds, that they forget the pain, or they play chess and go on with chess, or they drink alcohol, go on with alcohol, or they simply watch news, one news after the other, just to divert their mind from pain. Diverting the mind is not happiness. Happiness is when you don't feel hurt by anything. When will you not feel hurt by anything? When you're really focused on pleasing Krishna. And when you are so surrendered that you accept all Krishna's plans, then no matter what happens, say, oh, it's Krishna's wish, it's God's wish, I accept it. So this way a person becomes happy. When a person becomes qualified to accept all God's plans, qualifies himself, by submissively accepting then the person becomes happy. But we're not connecting to Krishna, we're connecting to our family members who are our spouse, our children, our parents. Then definitely we can't be happy. And if you're thinking we are happy, that is an illusion created by Maya. So see, he secures what all he does for family. He secures money by committing violence here and there. And although he employs it in the service of his family, he himself eats only a little portion of the food thus purchased, and he goes to hell for those whom he earned the money in such an irregular way. See what happens, when we earn money in a wrong way, black money or whatever, or murder and money, loot money, or rob money, or whatever you do. What happens is the money that you robbed for the sake of maintaining your family, it goes to family, and the sin goes to you, and you will go to hell, and they'll stay with money till they die, and they'll use your money. What is the use? You are going to hell for keeping somebody here happy whom you won't even be connected after you go to hell. And then when you go into a body of a lion or a tiger, they get next human body. Nobody will relate to you as a tiger's relative. They won't consider yourself a relative of theirs, and you also will forget that they were your relatives, and you will end up eating them. Now you are killing somebody to feed them, and tomorrow when you get a tiger body, you will eat them. What is the use of doing this kind of activity which makes you go from one body to another? This is what is the moral of this chapter. So this chapter talks about later on, how we get into different punishments, which already I told you already. So and a foolish man, how he becomes when he becomes old. That's also explained. Foolish family man does not become averse to family life, although he is maintained by those whom he once maintained when he gets old. Deformed by influence of old age, he prepares himself to meet ultimate death. See, thus he remains at home just like a pet dog and eats whatever is so negligently given to him. Afflicted with many illnesses such as dyspepsia and loss of appetite, he eats only very small morsels of food, and he becomes invalid who cannot work anymore. So when he cannot work anymore, what's the treatment he gives? Seeing him unable to support them, his wife and others do not treat him with the same respect as before. Even as miserly farmers do not accord the same treatment to their old and worn out oxen. You see how farmers were stingy, they don't respect the ox that has once served them, by working so hard. Now they're not able to work because they're old, so they're not even treated properly by these stingy farmers. Like that, the wives and children and relative of the old man don't treat them with respect. They just give minimum food, and it's such a burden. How long he will live? This kind of life Why should we work for such family members so much, that who are not going to value us when we stop earning? This is the point that Bhagavatam is trying to say. So then use your money to increase your Krishna bhakti. Like, I can use the money to buy nice mobile phones. Why? With very good camera quality. Why? So that I can come online and share what I learned from Bhagavatam with you. Because when I share the beautiful points of Bhagavatam with you, if you benefit, like Srinath ji says, Srinath J is saying here that he came to Krishna consciousness by watching our lectures. So he is grateful. No, I am grateful because using my phone, I did something and that will help me because he came to Krishna consciousness. I will be blessed so much by my spiritual master and the entire Guru Parampara and by Krishna. You know, so it will help me to go back to God. If this Srinath J goes back to Godhead because he went back to Godhead, I will also get a chance to go back to Godhead just because I helped him in some way using this mobile phone. So use your money to buy good phones to preach Krishna consciousness, to hear Krishna consciousness. Use your money to buy anything that you can use to increase your Krishna consciousness. Like that, if you do, you are using the money right way. But simply you are earning to feed your family members and to take them to cinemas, to take them to outings, to take them for parties and to throw a party, and then you will die like a dog, says Srimad Bhagavatam. You will not be respected by such people when you stop earning. But you use money for pleasing Krishna, to increase Krishna consciousness, to help someone to connect to Krishna, then you will be loved to the point of your death. And even after death, your Guru Parampara will love you, God will love you. So we have to live in a way that God will end up loving you, my dear friends. So then, here it is told that in this way he comes under the clutches of death and lies down surrounded by lamenting friends and relatives. And although he wants to speak with them, he no longer can because he's under the control of time. So what happens, when these people who are very stingy and all the time wanting to think of how to increase financial security and beat the inflation after 10 years, when they're thinking like that and only focused on earning, saving, investing, saving, like this, or into somehow keeping the relationships and things, the only thing, then what happens to such people is that at the time of death also they'll be thinking those things only which they have been thinking throughout their life. They cannot think of God. They will want to say, see, I wanted to save more but I could not save more. They're feeling at the time of death they didn't do enough. So they're dying with regret. They're dying with pain that they couldn't do enough. So they want to give guidance to their family members about how to save when they're dying. Who will be interested in your plans? If they're interested in your plans of saving, they would have listened when you're alive only. At the time of death, you're struggling to talk those things which they're not even going to follow. And when we're trying to struggle to talk, when we're not able to talk because the death has overpowered us, time, Kala has overpowered us, that words are, throat is choked, energy is not there to talk, that causes pain. Because of the health issues also, that causes pain, plus the crying relatives. And Prabhupada writes here, for formality's sake, when a man is lying on his deathbed, his relatives come to him and sometimes they cry very loudly, addressing dying man, oh my father, oh my friend, or oh my husband. So this is only formality's sake they cry. If they're really crying, then they would have taken care very nicely, even when you're old, when you're not able to sing. When you're dying, then probably either formality or I do not know, maybe thinking at the time of death, they're thinking of the good that they have got in the past and they're not going to get, or whatever, I don't know. So this all causes pain to the dying person. The dying person dies with so much of physical pain, mental pain, everything. So thus the man who engaged with uncontrolled senses in maintaining family dies in great grief, seeing his relatives crying. He dies most pathetically in great pain and without consciousness. See? So that is why, my dear friends, we have to be very, very, very to live our life in a way it pleases Krishna. So every moment, if we can be thankful to Krishna, every moment, if we can be praying to Krishna, help me to do this, Krishna, help me to do this, Krishna. Like this, if we are praying and if we are thank you, Krishna, for making me do this much. If we are in a thanking mood throughout, then at the time of death also, Krishna, Thank you, Krishna. You are there in my life. Thank you, Krishna. When we are saying if death comes, then Krishna has taken us back to Godhead. So we should be all the moment in a thank you mode. Thank you mode and thank you mood. Then for sure we're going to be moved to Krishna's abode, my dear friends. That is a summary and essence of the entire chapter. And I don't see that I missed anything. I covered almost all the highlights. So then it tells that suppose a person goes to hell, then in hell, after he finishes all the punishments, he will be given a suitable body of a pig or a tiger or whatever is needed. And after that, from tiger body, he will advance to further better bodies. Then he'll come to human being body. Again, he'll be given human body. So at least in that human body, he has to ensure that he'll not go back to hell and go back to animal body, isn't it? That is why now we got human body. Let's use it in a nice way so that we don't even have to go to hell and we can go back to Krishna. So with that we end the session. Actually I was supposed to come online on Bhagavad Gita page, but Maharaj is taking class there. So till he ends, I thought I will do my class. So with that we end the session, my dear friends. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I'm going to start with Hindi session now.